And from Lebanon, we now turn to North America. US-Canada relations have been rocked by turbulence again. The Royal Canadian Air Force once wanted to buy the American-made F-35 stealth fighter jet. Then
Canada just bet $33 billion on a single aircraft. But is the F-35 a high-tech shield or a sitting duck in the frozen north? We're diving deep into whether this stealth powerhouse can actually survive the Arctic's brutal conditions. Is Ottawa securing our sovereignty or just buying an expensive ticket to NATO's inner circle? The sleek F-35 Lightning II versus the rugged Saab Gripen. One is a stealth masterpiece, the other a tactical workhorse built for austerity. Canada chose the gamble of the century. But can stealth technology truly outperform raw adaptability when the temperatures drop to -40? We are deconstructing the logistical nightmare lurking behind the world's most advanced fighter jet. Deep in the Arctic Circle, the line between national defense and a multi-billion-dollar blunder is paper-thin. As Canada integrates the F-35 into its fleet, we investigate if this massive investment provides a genuine shield for North America, or if we've sacrificed tactical flexibility for international optics. The stakes for our airspace have never been higher, and the clock is ticking. In the frozen silence of the Arctic, a new military race is already underway. This race is not being fought with tanks, ships, or soldiers on the ground. It is being fought with sensors, stealth aircraft, radar networks, hypersonic threats, and billion-dollar defense decisions that could shape Canada's military future for decades. Canada is preparing to bring in the F-35, the most famous stealth fighter in the world. But the real question is bigger than the aircraft itself. Is the F-35 truly the shield Canada needs to protect the Arctic? Or is it a golden handcuff that will tie Canada's defense future to a system that may become too expensive to operate freely? The price of this decision is massive. Canada's F-35 program is no longer simply about buying fighter jets. The cost has already moved far beyond the original expectations. When aircraft, infrastructure, weapons, upgrades, training, and long-term support are included, the full cost could rise toward 33 billion Canadian dollars just to bring the capability into reality. Over the full life of the program, the total cost could reach more than $70 billion. That means this is not just a fighter jet purchase. This is a national defense gamble. Welcome back to my channel. Before we go deeper, take a second to like the video and subscribe. More than 98% of viewers watch without subscribing, and your support helps the channel keep bringing you these deep dives into military technology. Now let's talk about why 2026 could become the point of no return for Canada's Air Force. The first Canadian F-35s are expected to be delivered to the United States for pilot training in 2026, while the aircraft are expected to arrive in Canada later, around 2028. But even before the jets land on Canadian soil, the decision begins to lock itself into place. Once pilots start training, once facilities are built, once weapons are ordered, and once maintenance systems are installed, reversing the program becomes harder, more expensive, and politically dangerous. This is where the real drama begins, because Canada is not just buying aircraft, it is buying entry into a highly advanced digital war system. The F-35 is not an ordinary fighter jet. It is a flying sensor hub, a stealth platform, a data collector, and a battlefield quarterback. It can see, process, share, and attack before older aircraft even understand what is happening. On paper, this makes it sound like the perfect aircraft for Canada's Arctic defense. Canada must protect millions of square kilometers of northern airspace against modern threats, including Russian bombers, cruise missiles, unidentified aircraft, and future hypersonic weapons that could reduce decision-making time from hours to minutes. But the Arctic does not care about PowerPoint promises. The Arctic is brutal. It has extreme cold, remote runways, limited refueling options, frozen infrastructure, and massive distances between bases. A military system that works beautifully in ideal conditions can become extremely difficult to sustain in the far north. This is where Canada's F-35 dream meets Arctic reality. The F-35 gives Canada stealth and strong NATO interoperability, but stealth comes with a heavy price. This aircraft needs specialized maintenance, secure facilities, advanced software support, controlled logistics, and highly trained crews. That creates a serious question. Can a sensitive fifth-generation fighter operate efficiently in one of the harshest military environments on Earth? Supporters argue that the F-35 is exactly what Canada needs because it connects directly with the United States, the United Kingdom, NORAD, NATO, and allied sensor networks. In a real conflict, Canadian F-35s would not operate alone. They would become part of a shared digital defense network. That is the strongest argument for the aircraft. If Canada wants to remain fully connected to North American and NATO defense systems, the F-35 is the clearest option. But critics see the same advantage as a possible trap. If Canada depends on American software, American upgrades, American maintenance systems, and American-controlled supply chains, how much independent operational freedom will Canada truly have? This is no longer just a theoretical question. Canada is reviewing its defense choices while also looking at other systems, including Saab's GlobalEye aircraft for Arctic surveillance. That shows Ottawa may be trying to reduce overdependence on one defense partner. This is why the Saab Gripen keeps returning to the conversation. The Gripen is not as stealthy as the F-35, and it does not offer the same level of sensor fusion or global political weight. But it has one powerful advantage: rugged operational flexibility. The Gripen was designed to operate from roads, temporary bases, and rougher environments with a smaller support footprint. For Arctic defense, that matters. The F-35 may dominate the digital battlefield, but the Gripen may survive better in a scattered, frozen, infrastructure-poor battlefield. Canada must decide what kind of war it is preparing for. Is it preparing for a perfect NATO network war, where every sensor, base, and tanker is available? Or is it preparing for a messy Arctic emergency, where runways are limited, weather is violent, fuel is scarce, and response time is dangerously short? That is the uncomfortable question behind this entire debate.
Now comes the operational nightmare. Canada is already facing pilot shortages, and transitioning from the aging CF-18 Hornet to the F-35 is not like switching from one normal aircraft to another. It is like moving from analog warfare into a flying data center. The pilot is no longer just flying the aircraft. He is managing sensors, data links, electronic warfare, stealth tactics, and networked decision-making. This requires serious training, and training requires time. Time is exactly what aging air forces rarely have. Then there is the infrastructure problem. Bases like Lake and Bagotville need advanced facilities to support the F-35. These are not ordinary hangars. They need secure areas, specialized maintenance spaces, classified systems, and modern support infrastructure. Without these facilities, the F-35 becomes a very expensive aircraft waiting for the right home. That means Canada is not only buying jets, it is also buying a complete ecosystem around those jets. This is why the cost keeps rising. The aircraft itself is only one part of the bill. Canada must pay for hangars, weapons, training, spare parts, software, maintenance contracts, upgrades, and long-term sustainment. Once this machine starts moving, it becomes almost impossible to stop. The cost is not just financial, it also creates a strategic trade-off. Every dollar spent on the F-35 is a dollar that cannot be spent somewhere else, whether on ships, drones, submarines, missile defense, cyber defense, Arctic bases, or ground forces. Here is my personal opinion. The F-35 is a powerful aircraft, and no serious defense analyst should pretend otherwise. Its stealth, sensor fusion, electronic warfare capability, and NATO compatibility make it one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world. But Canada's real problem is not whether the F-35 is advanced. The real problem is whether the F-35 is the right tool for Canada's geography, budget, and sovereignty challenge.
Defending the Arctic is not only about buying the best fighter jet. It is about having enough trained pilots, enough runways, enough refueling tankers, enough radar coverage, enough maintenance crews, enough spare parts, and enough money left for the rest of the military. A fighter jet cannot secure the Arctic alone. Modern war is not won by one platform. It is won by the network around that platform. This is where the golden handcuff argument becomes serious. If the F-35 consumes too much money, too much political attention, and too much long-term flexibility, Canada may end up with a world-class fighter while weakening other parts of its defense system. That would be a dangerous trade. A stealth jet without enough support is not dominance, it is expensive dependency. And in the Arctic, dependency can quickly become vulnerability. So is the F-35 a shield? Yes, but only if Canada builds the full system around it. It needs modern radar, strong NORAD integration, reliable tankers, trained pilots, ready infrastructure, and strong Arctic surveillance. But is it also a golden handcuff? Yes, if Canada cannot afford the ecosystem required to make the aircraft truly effective. The jet itself may be world-class, but without the right support structure, it becomes more symbol than strategy. My final verdict is this: Canada's F-35 gamble can secure the North, but only if Ottawa treats the aircraft as one piece of a much larger Arctic defense strategy. If Canada buys the jet but underfunds the network, the bases, the pilots, the tankers, and the surveillance systems, then this will not be Arctic dominance. It will be a very expensive illusion of power. The real battle is not simply F-35 versus Gripen. The real battle is strategy versus symbolism. By 2026, that battle enters its most serious phase, because once the first aircraft enter the pipeline, Canada is not just choosing a fighter jet. Canada is choosing the future shape of its sovereignty. Like and subscribe to my channel for new updates. Thanks for watching.